try again. We're going to be here through October doing this First Fridays event. We'll continue to collect $25 bowls. If you'd like to donate those, we'll get them in, or if you want to put your name on them to get receive the funds from that, make sure they're marked with your name, and we'll get the money to you if they sell. 20% of all the sales go to the Woodworkers Guild for all the advertisement and the fees associated with being part of the Crossroads identity. Let's see. Okay, this is the part I don't really want to talk about, but we got to talk about. You all probably have seen, and if you haven't, go home and look for it, but I sent out an email requesting donations for the club. I'm asking you to please consider a contribution to help us recover from our move. Any help is much appreciated. So I sent the email out. I got a response from one of the members saying, you know, can you give me a little bit more detail? I want to know, are we going to be viable? How do we get, you know, how far behind?
People need to be quiet.
So, yeah, the mic's on. I guess give me a little bit more juice, Rob, if you can.
I think you got low on here. You want my microphone? Here.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to stand next to you.
That's all right. We'll be buddies. Okay, so the situation that the response I gave was that there's been probably 3 or 4 major things that have kind of drained our account. We started out, and we usually hold an account that is around the $10,000 mark, and we try to keep it pretty consistent, but it slowly trails down to the end of the year, and then we get new membership. That worked pretty good until the pandemic hit and things got a little tight, and also we had a rent increase at the other location. So we started having to find ways to supplement that, just the membership in order to basically make rent through the year. We had been doing that. We did that last year without a problem. And then we hit that point where they said, we're getting kicked out of our old location. We were told we need to be ready to move by the end of January so that we could avoid paying a double rent. But there was some lease breakdown in the landlord's negotiation, I think, with the person that was going to take over our space, which delayed that person from making a lease deal. I'm getting into more detail than I really wanted to. But so ultimately what happened, we ended up paying 3 months of double rent. It should have been 5 months, but the landlord did relieve the last 2 months of the lease on the old space. We got over here, what we were provided from by the guild for our space was a wall, a dividing wall. From that, with a lot of member support, Jerry, hold your hand up, Jerry. Jerry spent many hours getting us set up with the electrical we need. Kevin was finding ways to find things online as inexpensively as possible. We got a good lighting setup now, I think better than we ever would have expected given what we started with. So that we had about $5,000 to $6,000 in expenses in getting the shop set up.
That's a lot of money.
If we want to continue to use our shop the way we've been accustomed to, have the shop available for classes of 8 students or so, we needed the kind of space that we ended up with. I don't feel like we had a great negotiation necessarily on the lease agreement. One thing that we did do as a board is we asked the guild, we weren't going to sign for a 7-year term. We were only going to sign for a 1-year term. The guild's response was more a concern for, thank you. A concern for whether were we looking to leave and segregate ourselves from the guild again. We told them no, we were just concerned about whether we can stay viable with the cash flow that we had. We already have hit you up for a double your dues. We understand that. So we had the expenses of moving in to the new space, And then the most recent thing is we had sent a letter to the guild kind of explaining that we were getting into kind of some financial woes and that we were concerned about paying double rent. We were hoping that we could get them to not charge us any more double rent through the rest of the year after we paid, I think, 2 months of double rent. They came back, they did charge us for that third month, but they also credited us an $800 deposit on the old space that we really honestly felt that we weren't going to get back. So they did get, we did get a little bit out of that, but we also got hit with a $1,500 deposit on this space that it was expected. It's just that the timing sucked because, man, our account is just kind of trickling down. That concern and the fact that I was looking at an account, we were looking at an account as a board that probably was going to get us through a couple more months. Obviously, something needed to happen. So we have set up some banter with the guild to get a meeting set up so that we can talk, basically be upfront about our situation, have them tell us what, is there any give or take that we can get? I don't even know at this point what we're going to negotiate. It's just going to be trying to get some ideas on how to make things work so that we can stay viable. The statement that I said in regards to, I think we can, what I'm trying to do with the donations is get us viable through the end of the year. I really shouldn't have said that because I'm trying to get us viable so that we'll have a little bit of in the bank account at the end of the year so that we're not totally reliant only on membership dues next year. We are pursuing opportunities and looking for opportunities to bring monies into the club. Mike Thomas has been working with the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department in regards to providing some batons on a regular basis for their graduates of their classes in exchange for some monetary donations to our club. We're looking at not only the Spinach Festival, not only the Irish Festival, but the following week there is a little event called the Spinach Festival in Lenexa that we've got signed up for. So we're going to have a tent there. We'll be looking for other opportunities. First Fridays, they were looking at a Arts and KC group that has areas down near where more of the people are with that you can get a tent fairly reasonably. So I think we're going to be pursuing some of that. So we're trying to find ideas. I listed several things in the email that, might be ideas of ways that we can bring in more income for the club. But right now with 101 members, I think we really need to be about 160 to stay viable, to make the dues cover us through the year. So we're short where we want to be. I kind of expected that, especially, doubling the dues. I expected us to go down before we start building back up. But I think we're also in a vibrant area where we've got a lot of young, really art-oriented folks that this could be the place that they find, and we could end up with more members than we know what to do with over time. It's going to take a little time. So our current situation is we will be working with the guild. We will make ourselves get through this year. I don't know how we'll do it or exactly what. I've been somewhat, I've gotten some positives off of some donations that we've already received. So I know that you all love our club. It's in your hearts just like it's in mine. So I don't want anybody to give that doesn't feel good about giving, but if you can, we're at a time where we're kind of in need, and we're going to do what we can because this club isn't going to end. It may change face, I don't know, but it's not going to end. So I don't want you to think that we're just trying to get through the end of the year and then it's all up in the air again. We're trying to get through the end of the year by all means, but we're also trying to get viable or get ourselves so that we are comfortable that we can be viable in 2025 as well. So I didn't really want to take that much time. I'm going to go through these other announcements really quick, but catch me during the break. If you got questions, I'd be happy. By all means, your board is not trying to hide any information from you. If you ask us, we'll tell you where we're at. So hit me up, talk to Kevin if you got questions. Talk to Mike. I mean, all of the board members kind of know where we're at and what the situation is. I want to assure you that we're going to stay viable as a club. We wouldn't, the guild would not have put our name on the sign as big as their name without a desire for us to all be partnerships or be partners through this. So we'll figure it out and we'll get through it. That's all I'm going to say, but hit me up during break if you got other questions. I'll be happy to talk to you. Now, moving on, open shop. Shop continues to be available during typical open shop days and nights. Come on in and join the fun Saturday mornings, Wednesday and Thursday evenings, with the exception of the third Wednesday each month. I want to thank all the members that are helping to keep the shop clean and organized. It's looking really good. If you use the shop, please help keep it clean and organized. And this is a new statement from me. In the cleanup with a vacuum. You can use a broom to get the majority, but if you end with a vacuum, it really makes a difference. So also Kevin has installed a doorbell on the back door. If you ever show up on a Wednesday evening or a Thursday evening or a Saturday morning, the front door is locked. It might be that the opener's back there, but they don't want to be back there with the front door unlocked. So on the back door, the one that you walk up the steps to, you'll see a KCWT night doorbell. If you ring that, it does ring into our room. And the idea being that then the opener would know to go out and let somebody in. So it's just a way to kind of cover that odd situation. And I've been in it, but David Alexander's been in it even more, where he's here. It's early enough that nobody else is here. He knows it'll be probably a half hour to an hour before people start showing up. And he doesn't want to leave that front door open while he's back there making noise and can't hear anybody coming in. So that's what it's for. Use it if you ever hit that situation. I've honestly never hit a situation where the door wasn't unlocked when I showed up, except for maybe a couple. And I was the opener that night, so I had the key. Okay. Oh, the bandsaw has been repaired. Thank you, David Alexander, for, well, it's in good, it's usable. Oh, are we back down? Okay, so we might still be doing a little bit of work on the bandsaw, but we'll have it there. One thing that was mentioned to all of our members is if you're at all uncomfortable or you don't really know what you're doing with the bandsaw, just grab one of the other members and have them help you kind of get through that. We don't want you over there. It's a very dangerous piece of equipment. We don't want you over there uncomfortable. So please ask. David Alexander's almost always over there at the Powermatic right by the bandsaw. So he'll give you guidance if you need some help or guidance. And you can see the sticker on the side of the bandsaw that says, don't long cut your logs. Cross cuts are okay, but the long cuts are kind of hard on it. So please avoid that if you can. We do have a chainsaw back there, an electric chainsaw. When you get into those situations, we can use that. Let's see. Oh, and I just want to encourage everybody to come to the open shop. It's, you know, we've got a nice space. I'd love to see it fill up, even with people that don't want to turn and just want to kind of come in and hang out and visit and see what else is going on. So please join us there. Yes. Don, he's not here tonight. Every now and then donuts do show up. Yes. Oh, okay. Okay, help wanted. We're still looking for some additional shop openers and backup openers. So backup's not a whole lot of responsibility to that, just being there and available every now and then when the regular shop openers can't open. Anthony's been covering us pretty good on all the Wednesdays and Thursday evenings, but would like to have a backup. So when he isn't here, he has somebody to call and make sure that we have an opener. We still need an opener for the second Saturday of each month. I know David's been covering it, but David's also covering 2 other Saturday openings in the month, and probably 4 if you honestly look at it. So that's our need for the openers. We need ideas or content to put into our Instagram. Phil Sykes has created an Instagram account and is looking for photos and content. This is an old note, but it's still valid. Our Instagram name is City Woodturners. Our Instagram handle is at KC _Woodturners. And for anybody that would like it, I've got Phil's email address, which is philsykes@gmail.com, but Phil spells Phil with 2 L's. So you got to have the second L in there. And PH, thank you. Our club is always looking for new demonstrations. We do have a couple lined up down the line. So we've got some coming through August, I think, but we got the end of the year to finish out. So if you've got an idea or something that you'd like to demonstrate or something that you'd like to see demonstrated, talk to Mike and we'll see what we can do. Upcoming activities and events. I hope to see everybody. If you haven't already RSVP'd, please RSVP for the picnic at the Shawnee Mission Park this Saturday. We usually show up around 10:30. We're usually cooking early because we sit around for a little bit and see all that food and we start cooking early. So don't show up at 12:15 and think that we're starting to cooking then. Show up at 12 ready to eat. But show up early and come visit and socialize. It should be a nice night or nice day. We've got a shelter, so rain or shine, we're good. The shelter's right on the lake, so we usually catch a breeze off the lake. Even the hot days that we've been out there haven't been too bad, especially at that time in the day. Yeah, so we won't have an open shop that Saturday because we do want to encourage everybody to come to the picnic. And it doesn't usually run too long after we eat. So usually by 1, we're out of there. So before it gets really, really hot, we're gone.
We will not have David this coming Saturday. David will be.
Right. So there will be no open shop this Saturday due to the picnic. The club will provide hamburgers and hot dogs, plus the setups and the condiments to go with it. The members bring sides or desserts to go with it, and bring your favorite drink, but there is no alcohol in the park. So I guess maybe not your favorite drink, but your favorite non-alcoholic drink. Let's see. Oh, the next First Friday's event is July 5th, 5 to 9. We haven't been hurting for member participation because we got several members that have stuff out on the table. So we usually have plenty of members there, but I'd encourage you just to stop by if you haven't and see what's happening and see what it's like when we're all set up in here and have our wares all around. July meeting demonstration will be me, so you guys can plan your July vacations, around that date. I've got an example of some little lidded boxes that I've been making in all kinds of variations, but one shape that I've been kind of focusing on and trying to get to a point where I can do it in an hour's demonstration. So, but I will push a little bit on the decoration after the fact. I'm not going to do a lot of decoration during the event, but I'm going to show you a lot of examples of different ways that I've taken one concept and made a lot of different looks into it. Anthony Harris where's Anthony? There he is. Anthony's going to be teaching another basic spindle turning class. You probably saw an email either through the Woodturners group or even in the guild's advertisements. It'll be a 3-afternoon class and we'll run from 12:30 until 4:30 on Saturday, July 13th, Sunday, July 14th, and then the final class will be Saturday, July 20th. Tuition is $175 for that. And that's another good way to support the club and get something out of it at the same time. The spindle turning to me is a great startup class for new members. It's a great tool to cut your teeth on and learn. It'll lead to other tools and the ways to use the other tools. And we do still have spaces open. So, Kevin has a sign up or there is a sign up on the email, I believe, that went out, a link to get you signed up. In August, okay, you can always sign up through the website. August meeting demonstration, Kevin Neely is going to put a video together and he'll be here commentating through the video. He's finding a faster way for us to get through some segmented turning examples that I'm looking forward to. I've always enjoyed Kevin's demonstrations. So that'll be in August. And a couple of big outside activities to let you know of is SWAT. If you aren't aware of SWAT, it's the Southwest area turners. So it's not basically in El Paso. No, where is it in Texas? It's in Waco. It's usually hot outside, but Mike said you need a winter coat when you go inside because they got the air conditioning on so cold. So if you're interested, Mike's been there several times. Are you going this year, Mike? Okay, so he's going to another one, which is my next one on the list. We got 3 members right now that will be going to the Rocky Mountain Wood Turning Symposium in Loveland, Colorado. It'll be a 3-day turning event in September the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Okay, that gets me through our announcements with the exception of locating information about the club. The best place is the website, kcwoodturners.org. They'll also look for information in the Wood Chips newsletter that comes out, or simply ask a board member and we'll see if we can't get you an answer. All right, that being said, I'm going to take over Phil's spot because he didn't know if he would be here or not, and I don't see him out there for our safety minute this month. And it's going to be real quick. For safety minute, this is what Phil wrote. I was going to remind people to take frequent breaks and drink plenty of water. With the summer heat in full swing, it's good to set a timer for yourself and rest more often than in cooler times of the year, especially if your space isn't climate controlled. Not a bad thought. Anytime that you feel yourself getting tired and you're on any kind of equipment, you should be watching that and be heed any warnings that you have. Okay, folks, I talked way too long tonight. We got a great demonstration and I want to get right to it. So without further ado, let me turn the mic over to David, and he's going to show us what he's going to show us tonight. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? Good. Mike, thanks for letting me do a demo here on resin casting. Oh, well, I'm glad to do it. How many people have resin cast before or used, who's turned Alumilite or resin or epoxy? Okay, good. About 15–20% of you. All right, good. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes. Okay, the reason for that is when that timer goes off, we're going to start casting. How's that sound? Good? So I want to make sure we just keep things going. So tonight, what we're going to be doing is we're going to do a resin casting, and we're also going to see how to turn these resin blanks to make them shiny. I'm going to pass a couple of these pens around so you can kind of take a look at them. And here's a couple of blanks at the same time. So go over here. See how they're kind of shiny? Hope that one's shiny. And here's a couple of pins. I used to do a lot of wood turning on pins and stuff of that sort, you know, putting a CA finish on there. I've always wanted to try to figure out how do they make those acrylic blanks they used to sell, you know, those real hard resin blanks. It was about 2018. I looked at it. It's like, I looked up a YouTube video. It was some Italian, like 180 video thing or 360. And it was a big machine, looks like taffy. and it was grainy and it was all in Italian. And I said, well, forget it. So Woodcraft had this resin product, and I saw some things on Facebook and things of that sort, and that's how we're going. Some interesting things about this resin casting on this board over here. I have some copies here for everybody. Okay, I only have about 15 copies, but everything that we're talking about, the checklist that we're going to use, I always go through this checklist before I start resin casting. So it's marked A, B, C, D, E, F. It also gives them examples on the zigzag pour and the flip cup pour. Here is some YouTube and Facebook groups on pin turning and resin casting. So you have Zach Higgins, Instagram pages, cocoon blanks, segmented blanks. You will have to go on the Facebook page and answer 3 questions. I guess it's some type of robot thing. Just answer the 3 questions and they'll let you in. You know, they'll get back to you. I know we don't like answering those questions, but they won't let you in. But it's a really good place for ideas. Alumilite. We're going to be using alumilite instead of epoxy. Alumilite is a urethane resin. Okay. It's kind of costly. It costs about $200 for 2 gallons. It's about $100 a gallon. Okay. But the bigger the volume you buy, the less expensive it is. So they sell it at Woodcraft, they sell it at Rockler, and they also sell it at alumilite.com. Now, Rockler will have a sale. You get your 10% off from the guild. You know, your membership, you get 10% off there. So if it's $193, you take 10% off. Sometimes they have a 20% off sale. Alumilite will sometimes have a 30% off sale. It's like, hey, I just bought some, but I'm going to buy some more. So that's how I adjust those prices to buy this stuff. This is sort of a rabbit hole, but it's a lot of fun making your own colors. You have bragging rights. Okay. Any questions so far? Maybe in about a year or so. They say it goes bad, but I've used it before. The only problem is part B will get really thick. If you can't pour it out, they say to put it like in a hot water bath and it'll kind of warm it up like honey and then it'll pour out. But I use it enough that, yeah, I get about 118 blanks out of 2 gallons of the round ones. I only get 84 blanks out of the rectangle ones. It's kind of weird because these blanks here, I get 7 of them using 400 grams of resin, right? 400 grams, 7 blanks. Here, I only get 5 7/8 blanks using 565 grams. So I'm at 150 over or 160 over on grams, getting less, but I get more for 400. Do the math. I know we're not supposed to do schoolwork, but all right. Some of the products I also use is eye candy powders. I get those at Rockler, and Woodcraft has Black Diamond. Okay. Let's see. Your checklist. Things that you need to have on hand. You need eye protection. I usually use a apron, glove up. My air compressor is already charged. A recipe card. So tonight, what kind? First of all, what kind would you like to do? Would you like to do a square and rectangle one, or would you like to do a round one? So square and rectangle, raise your hands. I got 1, 2. Round ones, raise your hands. All righty then, I guess it's the round ones. All right, cool. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to cast these tonight, and at the end of the meeting, I'm going to take them out of this mold. It's just an air compressor that shoots them out, and you'll see them how they're done. Next question: what color do you want? Purple? Blue. All right, so this is what I do from these molds here. All right, when you fill them up to the top, you get things like this. Don't worry, you won't hurt them. Sorry. We got reds, we got greens. So when I get stumped for an idea, right, I'll go through this book. It's just a CD holder, right? CD holder, that's all it is. And I got a number on the back. If you see these round blanks back here, they have a number on them. So what I do is I make up a recipe. So I can recreate that number or recreate that blank. It may not be exact, but it'll have the what mica colors I used, how much resin, how much dye, the teaspoons, tablespoons. I don't use usually tablespoons, but the variants that I use. So I heard purple. Yes? All right. So So we're ahead of schedule. That's awesome. Hmm? This one here, there's a couple of brands out there, Plum Crazy. That's a pretty nice purple there. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be walking around a lot. Sorry. I teach, so when we teach, we're always walking around in classrooms to keep the students, you know, moving and things like that. They're falling asleep or on their phone. So we got this purple here, this Persian purple, pretty nice. It doesn't look purple, but last time I used it, it looked like this. It looks blue, it came out purple. I don't know. All right. But it just happens. Now, the thing about these blanks here, your monthly challenge for next month is a wood turning blank. So everyone gets to take one blank home. You get to either take a round one home or you get to take a square one home. If you don't turn it for the challenge, that's okay. Go ahead and take one home anyway. Try it out. See if you like it. You're not going to know unless you try it. Okay. Now I'm just going to show you ways of how to get it shiny. There's a lot of ways of doing it. Mainly, you're going to be sanding it. You're going to fine sand it to maybe 2000 grit, and then you're going to put some type of polish, whether it's Hut, the Novus, McGuire's. Yes. Yes, I do. The last one I do is I do a buffing at the very end. I'll explain that when I do the pin turn and why. Real simple, real easy. All right, so we got some. So what makes purple? What colors? Red and blue. Good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some red dye. That timer should go off in about 10 seconds. So did it? That one went off already? No, it didn't. It's got 3 minutes left. All right. Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glove up. If you don't, look at that. I already got purple on my hands. Now, urethane is a lot safer than epoxies, and especially the polyester resin. Those are the ones you put the little drops in. That can really mess you up. Those are really strong fumes. But aluminite's fairly safe. I always use a respirator at home too, just because it is a chemical. If you have that aluminite on your hands and you touch your eyes, it'll burn your eyes. So think about it, you know, you're breathing it in, but there's really no odor to it. When I mix my aluminite, I like to mix it up in a quart container like this. All right. The reason I like using these are food quart containers. After you pour them, you take it apart like this. It comes out, and you get to reuse the cup again, so you don't throw them away. So it saves you money. So I've used these three for like 6 or 7 pours. And it's fun just taking this apart too and just pulling them out. It's just, you know, one of those satisfying things. Yeah. So anyway, that's that. You don't have a trash can here, do we? Yeah, we do. Good. Because things are going to start flying. I don't want to get resin on that that black tarp behind us. All right, so within these grams here, it takes 400 grams. All right, so let's go through our checklist. All right, blow up, air compressor charge, recipe card. So let's come up with the recipe. What I like to do is I like to have this notebook, right? And I number my recipes of which one I'm using. So right now we're on 132. So 132. We're going to do purple, 400 grams. There it is. So after I write them down, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I type them up. After I do 2 or 3 castings, I go upstairs, I sit on my iPad, I type them up. If I wait a couple of days, I won't remember exactly how I did it. I'm a chef by trade, so we do standardized recipes. It's got to be on the money. It's like, it drives me crazy if I don't hit that right. Orange, green, yellow. Ooh, it's not bad. Yep, that's why we already started getting the 265. All right. So we're going to use red dye, and I will go 40 grams in 1 cup. And then we're gonna go blue, 150 grams. Purple. All right. Yes, sir. That's about 400 grams total. I'm gonna try to find one of my purple ones right here. Okay, we'll do that. So red dye over here. So now usually these dyes are really strong and concentrated, right? People use like 2 or 3 drops. I don't do that. I put a lot in there like that. Seriously, that's what I do. I'm gonna do it again over here. Okay. So I call that little squirt. Okay. Another 40 grams. And we'll do type of purple. So the blue that we're going to use, how about some ghost? Ooh, that'll be nice. Interference. Ghost blue. I'm sorry? Yeah, this interference powder, it's they call it ghost powders. And what it does, it sort of makes these type of blanks right here. Like this color. Okay. So I'm gonna do one of those. I'm gonna put a little bit of the ocean blue. No, that's all right. So I'm gonna use 150 of blue, 150 of ghost blue, 40 grams of red, and 40 grams of another red. So we'll go 50 grams. That'll give us an equal of 400. All right, so we got our game plan. I like to put these down on the bottom when I use them on the floor because sometimes I'll do A twice. And it doesn't, I've only done that twice, so. All right, so 200. So I got 206 grams. It's okay if I go a little lower. So I got 206. Now, before I do that, since I'm using fast, I want to make sure that I have my colors in here already. I'm going to go with my teaspoons. I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of the ghost blue in here. Yes, sir. So we take it and then we take this 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons. We're going to use a blue instead of a purple. Dark ocean blue, okay? Yeah, all right. Doesn't look that dark, does it? Your shirt's darker than this blue, but we're going to use it anyway. All right, let's go 2 teaspoons here. Because if I mixed those 2 chemicals together, I would have been hosed. Because in 5 minutes, it kicks off. It has to go in the pressure pot. In 7 minutes, it's almost beyond. Yeah, you want to go no further than 135 degrees. No further than 135. I'm sorry. Yeah, the powders are going to go into the resin. I call this the splash method. So what I'll do is I just basically take it, I just throw it in there, and it does its thing. So basically, all these colors you see here, I don't take a stick and put them inside there and pull it back out. I just pour it in there. Yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about. Yeah, this is A here, 200 grams. The next one is B. right here. Oh, crud.
First.
See?
No, it's in the box with the first.
It might have been. I thought I looked at it, but we're gonna try again. Go back, yeah, repeat. All right, this one, we're going here, I don't have to worry about it. All right. See, it never happens. Nope. So we got 203 on A. All right, so now it's go time because we got our powders mixed in. Now that's the other thing about B. I didn't use this yesterday, but I used it the day before. Sometimes this B will get stuck on top of here. The only way, the best way of taking that out is sometimes, well, we don't have to do it today. But I make a little bird's mouth. If I can't get it off, make a bird's mouth for the suction to break air into it. We don't have to worry about that. All right, 203. $209. Here we go. All right, so this here, the next I'm gonna do, put this in here, I gotta hit my time to start. This gives me how much time I got left before the timer goes off. So I put it 5 minutes. So I know I got 2 minutes left. When I start mixing this, it gets clearer, okay? All right, and what's gonna happen, this is gonna make some bubbles. That's all right, I'm not worried about it. If I go up like this, see now I get a lot of bubbles, not worried about it. But the pressure pot's gonna do, it's gonna reduce it so you can't see it with your eye. That's why you use a pressure pot. Not a cooking pressure pot, a resin pressure pot, okay? Now, we've had people say, oh, it's in the pressure cooker. No, wrong pressure. They do it for about 30 seconds. Okay, this one goes here. Bounce it out, 40. I said 50, didn't I? So that's why I wrote it down.
Mixing the resin with color.
Yep, I put that in the red dye. So I put the smallest amount first in the dyes.
Read that from a recipe.
Well, I just wrote down. Because I don't know how this is going to turn out. We're going to find out. All right, and then this one here, I said 150. 150, 150 is 300. And I can always add more mica powder. I usually put about a teaspoon per 100 grams. It will. They'll get up to 95 to 115 degrees. Yes, sir. $748, 49, 150. All right. Nice. 145. Now you get about maybe 8 to 10 grams left on this, but not today because we're at 150. All right, there we go. Set aside. All right, then I got this again. Get the rest of that off. You'll get about 120 pours with one of these. Work great. I got that from Cocoon Blanks. Next thing we need to do is find the paddle attachment. Not that one, this one. All right. This here is just a spade bit. Like this with the point taken off. You can use a popsicle stick. You don't need to get those things. You can stir all by hand. You can do it by hand with a popsicle stick or a paint stirrer. I'm going to do the lettuce color first. I got 2 minutes left. This drill is mainly dedicated for resin casting. It's styling, man, I'm telling you. I was getting these containers, those quart containers, and the FedEx guy dropped them off to me, and I grabbed the box. He saw my watch band. Saw the splatter from this stuff here. Man, that's a cool watch band. It's like those millennials, however you ever call them. Like, oh, thanks. So there may be a market out for it. Resin casting, watch bands, you know, the color shift and all that stuff. You never know. Huh? First Friday watch bands. I kid you not. I was like, really? Because the sun was hitting it. And that almost looks like red jello. Those dyes are strong. That's the only thing I don't like about the DeWalt drill. Their chucks don't hold on as well. I'm glad I'm wearing a nice shirt. Now, the reason I'm doing this in a clear cup is so you can see. Normally, I use a paper cup because with the paper cup, I can pinch it and go into that mold better, into these 3/4 inch holes, right? Put this out of the way. All right, so we got what? Less than a minute left. Let's take its temperature. Survey said, yep, 94.5 already. So I usually, when doing this here, I usually wait till it hits 95 degrees. If I'm doing a block pour like that, I wait till it gets to 115 because this takes a little bit longer. So I'm gonna hit these one more time. This goes brown. And stock ocean blue. Take its temperature. All right, we're at 102 already. See how fast that went up? This is called the splash method. You go and don't miss, especially in someone else's shop, right? I don't know if you can see those colors or not. There we go. So what's happening is when I splash it in there, it's making its own swirls. Okay, I'll let that sit for about 15 seconds. And here's that ghost red color. And here's this blue red color to make purple. All right, see how that's changing colors? Isn't that pretty? Isn't that nice? But that's not all. All right. What we're going to do for our next step, I wonder what's the temperature of it now. We don't want to go past 135. Oh, good, 99. 103. So when I splashed it, it slowed down a little bit. But I am going to try to bust this cup up a little bit, help it pour. Now, I'm more heavy right-handed, I am left-handed. All right. When I pour this, I want to try to pour it on this edge. I don't want to go straight down. I want to go on the edge. So it kind of form a ribbon effect. That's my goal anyway. I don't know if it makes any sense. That's what I do. I pour it at the same time to keep my arms in. And I'm pouring the red. I'm pouring the blue at the same time right on top. So it's one stream. Okay. This is a guild. This is what we'll do. We teach others. So I do have some secrets, but I don't. So if I have something I can share with you guys, I'm going to do it. Okay. So I hope you guys can try that. You may come up with a better way. Sometimes I put this at an angle. I'm not doing that tonight. All right, so after halfway, see how much? Hey, I actually poured more left than right. Wow, that doesn't happen very often. I usually switch cups. So I need to put more of this one now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm counting in my head. I'm sure you don't want to hear it. I'm gonna try to pass this around a little bit so you can see the colors. That swirl effect without getting it on the floor. Hey, what color did this get here? Oh. Oh, can you see it up there? Got the camera up above? Where is it, over here? All right, there's our colors right now. See it? That's how we're getting our purples. They're all mixing inside there. Take the pressure pot. See, it's not supposed to have this lid on. Come on now. Put this into here.
Still under a time pressure.
Yeah, we're still under the time crunch, but I don't think it's that high right now because what happens is it's hitting inside there. It's 111. It's hitting inside there, right? I'm gonna put a little bit more on top of here. So I get to one of those pretty skins. But it cools it down, just like when I did that splash method. Remember where like I forget the first temperature I said. Yeah, and then drop down. So now what I do is I take my gloves off. I'll try to keep these nice and clean. You can get these pressure pots at Harbor Freight, not Harbor Freight. Cancel that. Rockler, okay? They have them in stock. Woodcraft, they have to order them. The small one, they're about $205. Great price. If you use your coupon, 25% off and free shipping for Rockler. I think it cost me $150 back then, but they raised their price up a little bit. All right, now. This pressure pot goes up to 80. I only go up to 60. This is going to keep on about 10, 10, 1. All right. It's at 60 pounds of pressure. All right. We're going to get my hands now. Any questions? No, have we not? Okay. All right. The reason I let that kick up is because after the demo or after the meeting tonight, I'm going to take it out of the pressure pot and you get to see what they look like. Okay, yes, sir. Uh-huh. Yeah, if you have moisture in here, if it's a rainy day outside, it probably will bubble up on you a little bit, but I haven't really had an issue with it yet. So, any other questions? No?
It stays in there how long?
45 minutes to an hour. The slow stays in there for 3 to 4 hours. The slow, you have 12 minutes. It's not as hectic. You can mix up your resin and put your powders in your cups and go from there. So yeah, it's the fast. I usually do that for demos or we do a class. Ooh. Yes. I actually prefer the slow. It's a little bit more relaxing. I like the slow better. What I do is I'll put 2 of them in the pressure pot at night. I go to bed, I wake up 5 o'clock, 5:15 in the morning. Hope the wife doesn't wake up and I'd check them out and see what I got. And I take them out of the thing. It's a blast. It's fun before work. All right, so now let's see, we go to the next move. We're going to go ahead and start turning. If we can take this workbench. Is there any other questions on the resin casting? During the break, come see me if you have questions and I'll try to answer them for you. Okay. Watch your fingers. Nope. I don't want to move that one because it has the pressure pot on it and it files. Now, if you go past the number that pressure valve go out, it'll scare the jajibes out of you too. That's happened to me twice. It's like, yeah, this one here is sensitive. You go to 61.5. All right, cool. I'm gonna take that off. What's the best way of doing this? Just like
Kind of tip it that way.
tip it that way.
His legs on the ground
All right.
and then the slide.
One, 2, 3. I didn't tip, sorry.
Okay.
All right, cool.
2 people.
Yeah. All right. All right, some power. Is the, let's see, I can disconnect this over here. I got another extension cord over here. We can disconnect the air compressor. That's not from the air compressor. This way. There you go. When the air compressor, I let it kick off at night and I turn it off. So when I do hit the things out in the morning, I don't wake up my wife. Yeah, hold on. Maybe this will reach. Yeah. Yes, please. All right, show me how this one works. This is on. I'll do that. Safety first. Don't have things on your thing. Mine at home has a little, yeah, whatever. So this is on. All right. This is from right here, coming toward me. All right. How to get the speed up to 1800? Is there a,
Bell.
okay, hold on.
Sorry, I have to change bell.
No, that's okay.
Would we go to a bigger belt to go faster?
Dial this one up.
All right, good.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. All right. My wife at home, someone gave it to me. I helped her with an Atari. Does anyone know Larry that Woodcraft used to work there? I forget his last name. I haven't seen him around. I taught him Intarsia. And when I taught him that, he did about 150 Intarsias. He just went go. So I went to his house and taught him, and he gave me his old lathe. And it's still working, but it's the belt pulley system, and it's 1,840. So I turn it 1,840. Sorry, Anthony, it's not 2,000. I sand it 1,800. I polish it 1,800. I finish it 1,800. Everything's 1,800. I even wrap at 1,800. So it's production. You think it's anyway. So I don't know what speed this is, but we're gonna find out. All right, spindle gouge. All right, so what we're doing real quick is on these blanks, what I do is I drill a hole. And after I drill the hole, you really don't have to use mica powders or paint the inside. But I do like to paint the inside of the blank. Just some acrylic paint. I've had this for like 8 to 9 years before Keith Colsnow went out of business. And you just take a little paint on a Post-it, and you just go all the way through, inside and out, until it's coated on the inside. That way there you don't see any brass. When I glue up my tubes, I like to use epoxy. Epoxy is a little bit thicker. I haven't had any blowouts, maybe 1 out of 50 or 60 with epoxy, blanks, compared to the CA. Plus CA now gives me headaches. So my body's been sensitized to it. So when I smell it, I get headaches from it. So if you're going to do that in the basement, if you have a basement window here, and you're doing your turning or finishing here, have a fan coming over here blowing that CA out of your way and out the window, or use a respirator. Okay. Any questions on preparing the blank? I do sand my tubes a little bit. I'll take my palm sander and about five brass tubes in my hand. Just go like that. Nothing fancy. Okay. I do like to wear a face shield at the beginning. The 2 tools that I use is spindle gouge, and this is from T Shadow. It's a carbide. There's one called the Easy Wood tools. I'm still working with those. I like this one a lot better. It's basically has 6 sides to it, so when you put it down, the flat bar is at an angle. This is during COVID in 2020. They had their pin gathering on the internet. You paid $30 and you saw the whole presentation. One of the sponsors was selling this, and I've been using it ever since. And I like it. It works for me. So Whatever way you want to turn, how you turn, that's, it's up to you. So, there we go. Now I'm gonna set my timer. I always like to time things. Just to see how long it takes me, calculate, stuff like that. So here we go. Now I notice I'm letting the heat kind of hit the tool. And if I do that, I'll get more of a ribbon. If I just go really fast, you hear it chippy. Just let the machine do the work. I could go faster, but 1800 is where it's at. See? Now basically just get it round with this. Then I go to this tool. Now this one here is a little bit of adjustment. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm using the line. So we have three. I've got two short ones and I'll do another one. So basically I'm just using right here in the middle. That's at an angle. What do you guys call that? A scraper? Shear cut? All right, we're doing a shear cut. Then I'll come on this side. What we're making is one of these here. We're making a junior majestic rollerball. I really like these because when you turn it and close it, it's a good amount of turn to lock it in place. They're expensive little suckers. Those gold ones, oh my gosh. But there's other ones out there for like $12 for pin components. You don't have to buy the expensive ones. I'm really liking the roller balls now because I'm in construction and this one's lasted me since January, so almost 6 months. It hasn't broken like the cigar pins and the twist pins because I'm climbing scaffoldings on roofs, drywall. We're doing concrete right now. I did a concrete pour this morning and it's been working. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to just turn one of these roller balls. Bring this in a little bit. And the reason why I'm going to turn on this side and one in the middle because I want a little bit of taper on the edges. Bring my brush. Now, if we use one of those round blades, this was 7/8 square. If we use one of 3/4 blades, we'd be done turning. But I want a little bit of heft on this one.
Particular type of pins you do. One at the time, one at the top and the bottom separately.
I wish I had them both at the same time, but I cheated. I already had the other one turned. Because I'm sure you don't want to see me do two of them. All right, so we're only going to do one. The main thing I'm showing you here tonight is I could have just made one of these sticks and turned it. I'll pass these around. You take half while you guys are just watching me. This is what they look like on the inside, what they look like on the outside. So the thicker part is what it looks like on the outside. Okay, so look at the bottom part and then look on the smaller part. That's what it looks like the inside. You don't know what it looks like until you actually turn it. Whereas when you do these type of resin blanks, I know what I'm getting when I turn it. You know what I mean? So I write that method, left hand, right hand splash method. you know, yeah, I wrote that down on my recipe. So, all right. That answer your question? Okay, good. Here we go. Also supposed to be, see, right? Ooh, that's getting pretty. Now, also at home, I went to Bananas. Got one of those 18,000 or 22,000 lumen lights. But it's just like, why not? Because we got, why not one of those ladies? It's good to have that way. At first it was so bright it gave me a headache. But now I'm used to it. Set your glasses on, are you good? I'm gonna take this off now. Now I'm gonna put on my magnifiers. Now, when you're using magnifiers, you got to kind of get used to the magnification the first couple of times. But to me, I can get a little bit closer to it and it just works better for me. So now I can see exactly how much I have to remove. One, two, three. All right. So now I'm gonna check out the bushings are at. That's good. That's good. All right. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go this direction. But at the same time, I'm gonna just smooth it out just a little bit. But at the same time, look at the negative space behind the blank. So I can see exactly what's sticking out and what's not too shallow. Okay. I just barely twisted it. I'm a long type too, so don't jump or anything, but. Yep. And I forgot how to use it. Now this does have a radius curve. I'll tell you about that in a second. The one who's going to ask which of the tools is commonly built this way. That's looking good, looking good. Get that corner. But I haven't used it in a while. And yeah. So, all right, that feels good. All right, now, well, you got an actual handle that works. Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to show you the sanding process of how to get to the shiny spot. Okay. It's pretty simple. 1, 2, where'd the other two go? There they are. So we have 500, 1,000, 2,000. So explain about this stuff here in a second. 4,000. Actually, I'm going to pass this back around. This time we're going to start in the back row. Here you go. Alex at Woodcraft talked to me about these, and he said Porsche. Now I don't know if this is a true story or not. Alex is sort of a young guy, and I don't know if he's pulling my leg or not. But Porsche wanted Festool to come with a sanding pad that they can polish their cars with. That doesn't booger them up. He didn't say booger them, but mess them up. So that's what these are. They're 500, 1,000, 2,000, and 4,000 grit. I used to do this with wet dry sandpaper. I used to do 400, 600, 800, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 grit, and then going both ways, and this saves me so much time. Okay, so we got that there. Where'd that other little packet go? So what I'll do is I take the 320 Abernet, so whoever wins that tonight. Abernet's a great product. All right. I like to use this micro mesh pad. You can do micro mesh pad, zona paper, whatever way you get to your final dimension. For me, this is what I do, but I like to have this little pad behind it. So now I have even pressure over it instead of just my fingers on sandpaper. Now when I do this, I can see if there's any dark lines. If there's any dark lines, that means it's deeper than the outer perimeter. So I have one here, and that's about it. So that's not bad. Okay. So 320, get it right there. Using my right finger on the right side, my ring finger on the left, and the middle finger, I'm doing all three at once. Okay, I'm not putting too much pressure on it, and then when I do it very lightly, I just barely hit it on the final ones. That's it. Then I take this Abernet and I go back across this way. Nope. But what happens is I have my marks going this way, but now I scratched it off this way. I never used to, like, man, I don't need to do that, but it really does help. Because in these corners right here is where I can still see these marks going this way. So I just take my piece here and hit these corners here. That way, and I'll do it over here too. You know, this is a process. It's not something that's quick and fast, and sometimes it can be. I understand that, but this is just the way I do it, and you always try to get a little bit better at it as you can. And you guys will probably have some good tips to share, and you know, that's what we're about. We're a guild. That's what we do. All right, it looks good. And I throw that away. I don't save it. I get rid of it. I know a lot of you guys want to hold on to it. Where'd my little square thing go? Here it is. Now what I do is 400 grit. Get my water over here. Protect your guys' lathe. I usually use a cloth towel, lay on the bottom. Now when I'm doing this, I'm hearing it and listening for it, because you can hear it remove the stuff, the acrylic, but it's also running down the sandpaper at the same time too. What speed do we use? There you go. And yes, I like to use that pad too, underneath this as well. I like to use my magnifiers, and I like to use this little, hello? Yeah, I like to use this little squirt bottle. I used to do, like I said, 400, 600, 800, 1200, 1500, and 2000. All right, so then I turn it off. Get a little water on here. Now I'm going to use that first part of the sandpaper I haven't used yet. I'm going to go back and forth again. about 60 times. All right. Okay. Then we take these things, get with that little pad underneath. I've done maybe 25 pins with this already and still holding up. Yeah, Alex told me you stop at 300 or 320, 400 when you just use these and that's it. Get that off, boom. Next one. 1,000.
Those pads are always dry.
I use these dry instead of, I tried it wet once. Nope, I used it wet from now on, so. Yeah, see, it doesn't take long with these pads either. With the wet dry sandpaper, you gotta, you know how that first one took me, right? And do that 5 more times. You know, basically do what gets you the best results. And then we'll do this one more time. And this is for limonite. I guess it can work for epoxy as well. But I haven't done epoxy in a while. The epoxy I used was liquid diamonds. And it's a harder product. Also, when I drill with these, I use a drill press. I use 900 RPMs. I just go in and clear it out. Some people use a lathe, which is fine too, but everyone has their own way of doing it. All right, next step, our polishing compounds. Here's Zona paper. This that I just used for the wet dry sandpaper in those. You can use Zona. You can use micro mesh. You can use any of those. Okay, but after I use the micro mesh in the Zona, I would switch to this. This stuff here, Magic Juice. It's basically a glass polishing system. I fold this down. I use number 1 with my little pad right there. Yes, I use that little pad too. Gives me even pressure. You don't need a pea size. And that's it. Now, the number 1, I'll go it 2 times because we have the wet dry sandpaper and all that gray stuff in there and junk and gunk. So this is sort of cleansing it out. See? And all that junk off. Then I'll just hit it like this. Where's my scissors at? Usually I have my scissors right underneath my lathe. Number 1 again. See how we get a little shine on that bad boy? Wait till we get number 3. Now it's not as dark as that first one. Number 2. Now number 2 contains your paper towel. That's all we need. Little pea size. Half the size of an eraser. Getting shinier. Now, if you leave your caps open on these, don't worry about it. They're water soluble, so I haven't really had them ever dry out on me. Yeah, I hear you. Oh, I'm sorry, but the camera. Are you good? You can see good. About 40 seconds. I'm not pushing really hard. I don't want to generate heat. I want just to polish. Oof.
So you're gonna go through every single tube.
Yeah, again, 3 more. Yeah, it's a process. I mean, it's nothing quick and fast, but for me, it works, and that's how I get the shine on Alumilite. So now there are some pin turners who do the fountain pins, the kitless pins, and they'll do a satin finish. You know what that means, right? They don't take it up to this many grits. So some people like a satin finish on their pins. So you could use, like I said, the number 1, 2, and 3, and the grounds is really good. They got 2 different ones. The white one and the black. I used to use that. But try to find something and stick to it. And know how to use it. Know how to fix it if it breaks. Now this one here doesn't like to come out. Hey, not bad. Oop. One more paper towel. We'll do number 6. And number 6 is real thin and runny. That's nice shine on there. Especially if you have a bright light above you, you can tell if there's any scratches or. Now, since we're polishing this way, right? If there are any scratches, which one of those scratches go on? Right on. So for our last step, we're going to use the buffing wheel. Use away. Now, the reason why I put them on this thing here, because sometimes I'll forget which one I did. So if I put it on this here, I know I didn't use it twice. Never that I'd never ever do that. Oh, this thing works too. Oh, that's nice. All right, so I know this is going to be the business end for the writing. So I put a couple Sharpie marks in there. So I take it apart and I buff it. I know which part goes in what part. If I go like that there, stay here. Hold on to that while I get the buffing thing set up. And you can take a look at it. That's my fingerprints on it right now. Yes, sir. Ceramic coatings like CA. No, I haven't done that yet. You can put a CA finish on here and it'll probably last a little bit longer. I'm gonna need that back. It's okay. All right, thank you.
got that far.
All right, see how shiny it is? It's nice. It looks good. All right, here's my little blue rouge. And I bought this like 4 or 5 years ago too. That's halftime. All right, more than that. All right, so as I do this, I just hit it. What speed? 1800. All right, so now this one I'm going to go vertical. Instead of going horizontal, I'll go vertical. I usually have lights on. Does this work? No. And that way there I can see if I have any scratches, any of those round scratches. Now I can go this way. And I put a very much pressure on it. Now I have used Yorkshire before. The man, you're working a long time on this buffing wheel with the Yorkshire. It works. I'm sorry? No, that's it, yeah. It works, but just it's not, but I also put 2 coats of wrench on it. Now, if you do half of those, I usually do like pins at a time. And when I get done buffing, I got pretty thumbnails. They're all shiny and so it doesn't take long. All right. Good. Good, good, good. Any questions? No? Good. The pin, but you guys know how to turn a pin. I'm just showing you a way of polishing up aluminite. And you don't have to use it for the whole pin. You can use it for segmentation. You can do wood and resin at the same time. You know what I mean? So.
That same polishing tip is work on.
Yeah, you put acrylic, you put the CA finish on it. Oh yeah, absolutely. Just start off, I hit with steel wool and those pads. I wouldn't do the wet, but I do the steel wool, those pads and the polish and boom, done. Absolutely. All right, so. Nice thing about having gloves, these things come out a lot easier. I was at Disney World one time with our kids and some lady was giving us the Ghirardelli's chocolate. She went, it came right out of the package. She had gloves on. That's the reason why it came out so fast. You ever tried unscrewing these all the time, you know, but. Here's what the blank looked like before. This was the square one. So I used 3/4 inch square, but look how close I am to the sides. I would be very careful of using that. So that's why I use the 7/8. That's what it's going to look like before. And when the pin's put together, you can see what it looks like after. I'll put this one in first. I like using this Harbor Freight Arbor Press. This is the side that has the Sharpie in it. I'll do that one second. I'll lay it that direction. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I look at my blank. I want to try to match up the top. I'm going to try to match up the top with the bottom. And the way I do that is I'll turn this knob and I'll get it tight. Okay? By getting it tight, I see a lot of red here, but a lot of black there. I don't want that. I want a lot of red here. There it is. There's more red. These roller balls have a 3-part set. So I can turn it and hit it in 3 different angles. It'll turn. So I can find that matching grain direction. I'll turn around here. To me, that looks good. Okay. Then I undo this like this. And that goes this way. Put this on here. Then I'll bring it down. Now, right before I close this, I look at the bottom. The reason for it is sometimes those plastic shreds will get underneath there and it'll get caught underneath that rim. We went straight down, so no issues. If you did have one, you just take a X-Acto blade and, you know, you just pop it off. Now for the top, I want to find out the best place for the ring. Yeah, I hear you. See, so for me, it takes me 30 minutes of turning. So it takes about an hour to turn. It takes a total of 2 hours to do a pin. It's not a get quick, get rich thing. It just takes time. Anything we do takes time, but it's going to last a long time. That's why I set the timer for 30 minutes. I just saw the clip. Where'd it go? There it is. Now for the clip, what I like to do, have you ever had a pin in the clip move on you? Yeah? All right. Well, that ain't going to happen here. What I do is I take lock thread tight, lock tight, and I've had this for like 3 or 4 years. Just take one little drop. Hey, still on camera. Good. Well, I put one little drop between that gold and the clip. I push it in there, and that Loctite will come off. It'll come loose. It won't ruin the finish. If you start using CA glue or something like that, or epoxy, now you have a chance of boogering it all up. We want no boogers. All right. And find which side looks the best to you. So I go like this. I like the black and the red there. I like it there. We're going to go there. Lift it up. Put it in like that. Take your ink, roller ball, test it. Works. Grab the spring. Use the spring. Hello, spring. Well, that's why you bring 2 kits. So when you lose a spring, you have another one. Where'd it go? How many people ever lost a spring? Pin turn? I hear some laughing. All right, it's here somewhere. That's why I put it on this tray so I don't lose it. All right, here's another kit. Hold on. There's a reason why I'm doing this, and I'll show you in a second. No, I brought more than one. Here it is. There's a spring. It's probably still in the bag then. All right, we'll do this. Put the spring in the bottom. Put the rollerball ink in here. All right, line that up. It's a 3-part turn. Oh, missed it. See, I did that on purpose so I can show you how it goes on right. So when you get it, boom, there it is. The black over here and the bright red here. So we kind of have the grain matching. Okay, Mike, our next month challenge is turn a resin blank, right? Do you have anything for that raffle? How about one of these? So whoever draws the raffle ticket gets this pin. Sound good? All right, so you just turn it, try it, give it a shot, see if you like it, and we'll put this in the next month challenge raffle if that's okay with you. All right, cool. I'm gonna pass this around. Now this here kind of nice. This is a little bit bulkier. This one at work is a 3/4 inch blank, so it's a little bit thinner. It's not as heavy. I can put the cap on the back, but like I said, this was going on 6 months. So that's the finished product. You saw those other 2 I passed around. Any questions? I do thank you for your time. There anything else? All right. If you have any questions, want to see me during the break, please feel free to come up. I'll try to answer the best I can. I have about 15 of those things up there, and I have about 15 of the YouTube places to look for. Yes, sir. Oh, after the meeting, I'll pop that out. All right. Huh? Oh, I'm going to wait. What time did it go in? About 8 o'clock. All right, we're going to let it sit till. Well, if you want to see them now, I can blow it up and we'll see what it comes out. I'd really like to give it a full hour. 1 at 8. I'll pull them out now. Well, you're going on break. The planet's circling around, it's right there.
public